Video games. We've all played one. From consoles, to phones, to tablets, to computers, I'm certain that we have all had experiences with video games. But what are video games? This question, and others similar to it, prompted me to research them. To start, what makes video games fun? I myself am familiar with this question because I do invest a fair share of time and money into playing them. But some people spend a lot of money buying them and a lot of time playing them. So, what drives us to play games? To summarize, video games make us feel satisfied. But how do games do this? To quote Jay McGonigal in her book Reality is Broken, games give players clear missions and more satisfying hands-on work. But what is satisfying work? Satisfying work is any work that we know how to accomplish and provides feedback when accomplished. This feedback upon the work's completion makes the player feel satisfied in the efforts to put into achieving the goal. So if you can't get no satisfaction, play a video game. Oh, that was terrible. An example of this would be, well, any video game really, but for an example I'm sure we have all heard of. Let us look at Super Monkey Ball for the GameCube. Wait, you haven't heard of it? How has nobody heard of this game? It's actually quite good. It's devilishly difficult, but it's good. The goal of the game is simple enough. In the game, players are tasked with rolling their character into each level's goal. Once a player does this, they are rewarded with the announcer yelling, "Goal!" and their monkey doing a dance. This feedback accompanies the satisfying part of satisfying work, makes the effort the player put into achieving the goal feel worthwhile. In addition to making people want to play them, video games also provide a good learning experience. While video games do not teach players most practical life skills, unless we're talking about edutainment games, people who play video games are exposed to a learning style that reinforces their knowledge of how to play the game by providing them with experiences. When someone plays a video game, the experiences they gain within the game provide them with a mastery of the basic topics and gives them experiences from which to reflect upon. Through reflection, a player can then learn how they applied the game's fundamental rules to the new challenge, allowing the player to gain more knowledge on how to tackle new challenges based on the previous challenge. This reflection and application exemplifies what James Paul G. calls critical learning, a type of learning that is similar to experience-based learning. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, so let's use an example that's not as obscure as Super Monkey Ball. Take the original Super Mario Bros. For the NES. You know, this one. When a player first starts up the game, they may have experience with previous games and know from them that pressing A or B causes them to jump. There is an example of critical learning. Past knowledge is being applied to a new problem. Through this experience, players also come away with the knowledge on how to jump in the game. With the knowledge on how to jump, players are then faced with this: Goombas, Mario's most infamous enemy. Sorry, Koopas. From experiences within the game, players know that jumping gains you height, and the Goomba is rapidly approaching. The player doesn't know what to do. What does the player do? The player just can't stand there. Do something! Jump! There's an example of critical learning. Players also now know that jumping allows you to leap over obstacles, which is experience-based learning. These are just some of the many examples of learning a player experiences as they play. Every time an obstacle is overcome, a player attributes what they did to the fact that they completed the obstacle. This knowledge can then be applied later in the game, allowing their mastery of the game to increase. At their core, video games are more than just a hodgepodge of zeros and ones. They are designed in order to satisfy players for the work they put in, and allow players to develop a mastery of the game's mechanics, preparing them for the challenges that await. Video games may not be the most productive activity in the world, but instead of being written off as a useless distraction, people could look at them and attempt to learn from them. We can take this knowledge of a video game's core mechanics and apply them to other aspects of society in general, to better engage people. And this is where my research brought me to focus on its applications to education. I'll now bring this presentation back to myself, and I'll present applications of game-like mechanics to the education system. Enjoy.